Coming from Africa, I came here to better my life, and I feel like personally we need to stop using the word racism when we don't get something or when something don't go our way, and just
Let me
keep
jump
trying.
in real quick. No disrespect, but racism exists, and I have to acknowledge it. And I can't just ignore it, but what I can do is not buy into the system.
Step forward if you agree. Slavery affected my family.
God damn it, all the tethers stayed standing. These are all foundationals who were agreeing, yes, slavery impacted my family. Every single African who was colonized, i.e., enslaved on their homeland, they all are claiming that slavery did not impact their family. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's just evident in my last name, King. I mean, that's the brand of the slave owner that put that name on my family all those years ago, and I'm still wearing it in those ways, along with the compounded, economic disparity, social disparity, mental trauma, all of that. I mean, it's tethered forever.
So to go back to slavery and talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, it has never stopped. So there is no post. What my great-grandparents were teaching my grandparents, who taught my mother, who taught me, came from what they learned through slavery. So there's a lot of fear, a lot of insecurity, a fear of society, a fear of law enforcement. So slavery has made a major impact where the low self-esteem is consistently reoccurring. I think for me, growing up in Los Angeles, California in the early 1960s, there was a stereotype that I didn't want to be black, I didn't want to be African because we come from Africa or we're slaves. So I want to be a Chinese boy, I want to be Bruce Lee.
Okay, hold on. Old head did not just say that he was so ashamed to be African American that he wanted to be a Chinese boy, y'all. This is the first time I've heard an FBA brother say that he was so disenfranchised, he was so ashamed growing up that he wanted to be Bruce Lee. Okay, all right. I mean, it's really not funny, but we find the humor in all things.
So growing up like that, I didn't like myself and who I was. I didn't like the color of my skin or the way that I spoke. So I emulated other people. I wanted to be something that I was not.
It's very saddening when you can literally only go back a couple generations and then it's like the documents just don't exist. There's no record. It's like, my family has completely been erased. In that same point too, in the time that we've been here, we've created an incredible culture and we have so many things to be proud of. And I always reframe the narrative myself and I speak of my ancestors that were enslaved as, doctors and healers. And it's like, we were taken because we were talented, because we had skills to offer.
Hey, facts. We were enslaved, we were indentured because we were talented. They don't want no untalented person trying to build a country.
We built this country, so.
And still building.
And still building, and that's something to take pride in, so.
Can the disagreeer step forward?
Ah, here come the disagreeers, i.e. the fleers. Let's hear these Africans who are still being colonized to this day. Let's hear the Africans talk about how slavery didn't impact them. Oh boy, here we go.
Slavery didn't affect my family, but we did suffer different type of slavery back home. Like we went through colonization.
Dumb ass mush mouth tether baby. How are you gonna say that slavery didn't impact your family, but you were enslaved in a different type of fashion, i.e. colonization, and that impacted you? Look at these motherfuckers. Sir, slavery impacted you. You were colonized, which means you were enslaved on your own land. If anything, that's a bit worse than what we went through, y'all. If anything, that's a bit more down bad. I mean, you got enslaved on your own homeland where you're the majority. You got pimped out. Oh, Lord, that's even a little bit worse in my book.
Like I am Bamileke. There was a massacre of Bamileke. You guys can look it up. They killed more than 300,000.
The Bamileke War is the name of the independent struggle between the Bamileke Cameroon's nationalist movement and France. Sir, if France killed over 300,000 of you guys, you were impacted by slavery. You were enslaved by the French, sir. What are you talking about?
Of my people, because we didn't want to assimilate to the French culture. But it's still nothing compared to what you guys' ancestor like been through, you know.
That is kind of comparable and in some ways worse. You're telling me you're on your own land, you're the majority, and you still let these white boys come on boats from France and fuck y'all up and kill 300,000 of y'all. They came over from France to do what? That's a bit more down bad than being kidnapped and brought over to a foreign land where you ain't got no allies, you ain't got no access. Sir, slavery impacted you tremendously.
I wouldn't want to minimize that pain, though. What you just said hurt me. That 300,000 people were killed because they would not conform to the colonization of the French people. So that is just as painful and hurtful as the trauma that we suffered here in America.
I can't share the same experience that you have went through and your family, even though we also had our own type of slavery. We had apartheid at the time, you know, where the Dutch people
Ma'am, apartheid is a form of slavery. How are you guys going to all say that slavery didn't impact your family, but you guys were enslaved in a different way? Just because you use the word apartheid or use the word colonization, you guys were enslaved, and you were enslaved on your own homeland, which is damn near worse in my book. But slavery didn't impact y'all. Okay. See, we weren't necessarily enslaved, no, see, it was apartheid. So they didn't really enslave us. They just made us work for them and stay out of their neighborhoods and communities. So, but it wasn't really slavery.
took over and they wanted to just have South Africa, Namibia, and I think other countries where we could only just speak Dutch. It's somehow still happening even now. There's like a place in South Africa where it's called Orania, you know, and it's just Dutch people there. No black person is even allowed there. So we still somehow feel that.
If they are controlling the resources of your country to this day and they don't even allow you in their Dutch neighborhoods of South Africa, then you were definitely impacted by slavery, ma'am.
Oppression even now, but it's nothing compared to what your ancestral history, you know, has gone through. Somehow
No, it's worse. It's worse. It's worse. We survived and thrived in a place where we were the minority. They tried to kill us off every way possible and couldn't. You were enslaved on your own homeland where you were the majority woman. It's worse.
happy that you guys have forgiven it, even though you haven't forgotten it. Have you forgiven it? I mean, like your face, like.
And then this mushmouth tether broad is going to talk about, oh, it's great though that you guys have forgiven it. Bitch, ain't nobody say we forgave a goddamn thing. Don't come over here with that tether babble putting words in our mouth. We didn't say that we forgave a goddamn thing. Run us our check.
Do that. But me personally, no, I haven't. But I want to work through the change. But no, I have not forgiven because it's a system that's still going on. And from what I'm hearing from you guys, there's a system that's still going on in Africa as well, and it's a war on us.
Racism is the main cause of
And you see why we're so divided? You see why Pan-Africanism is dead? These Africans don't even realize we in the same boat. They don't even realize they were enslaved too. They think they're different. They think they're other.
poverty among black people in America.
Racism is a very big issue that talking about it, I'm really trying to be careful to not like say anything that will be insensitive. If opportunity is right here, they will give it to people of other race than African American and Africans too. So if there's a job that maybe have math requirement, I feel like they'll pick an Asian person, or they believe, oh, African Americans will not dress appropriate, so they will pick another person. They will always like pick people that are not black over people that are black.
And I also think, I think the crucial missing point when we talk about economic disparity, time. Time is the most valuable currency. And if you have a stock that's like the American dream is the stock, and during all that time, all that asset, the American dream was appreciating, and you're not allowed to take out business loans, you're not allowed to read.
God damn it, y'all. This is the first member of the LGBTQ plus A squared hyphenated mafia that I've seen be on code, y'all. We even got members of the LGBTQ squared plus hyphenated mafia on code before these Africans are on code. Make it make sense.